The factory ammo Precision Hunter 175 ELDX. There are a lot of reports that the numbers on the box are a bit inflated.
Well adjusted.
So we'll see how well the box velocity gets. It says 3050. Just 100 feet per second slower. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but when I shoot factory ammo and it's getting 100, 200 feet per second slower than box velocity, that seems to be the norm these days and not the exception. So in today's video, let's talk about it. And it would sure be nice if the ammo companies would actually be honest about the box velocities. Over the last few years, I think the poster child for inflated velocities has been this guy, the 7PRC with the Hornady ammo. Now, we all know I'm not going to kick down a dead horse more than I need to, but basically Hornady can't get the powder they want, and so you're going to see velocities 150, maybe even 200 feet per second slower than what they claim on the box. Now, there are certainly a few companies with their box ammo that I've tested where they're actually pretty dead on, and they actually change their velocities according to the powder they can get. I'll mention those companies here in a bit, but let's talk about why they inflate the numbers and hopefully maybe what could be done to fix it. All right, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize the number one reason why companies inflate their velocities. They're trying to make money. They're trying to compete with other companies. They want to provide the best product for you. And well, they're good at marketing, especially Hornady. And so, you know, they're going to use test barrels that are probably a little bit longer than most hunting rifles. And they're going to make claims that maybe aren't 100% accurate. But yeah, it's all about trying to make a little bit more money, which, look, I'm all for capitalism, okay? I'm not poo-pooing on that idea. I just think, number one, I think they should stop using test barrels. I think they should pick up a most common hunting rifle. So whether that's in 30-06, 270, 308, which most of those rifles have 22-inch barrels, or maybe a Magnum like a 7PRC that comes with a 24-inch barrel. I don't know, maybe test it with the most common barrel length to see what kind of velocities you really get. All right, guys, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but in defense of Hornady, their original ammo, when they had access to the magic powder, it was getting 3,000 feet per second, or at least really close. Yeah, I mean, Hornady wasn't initially being dishonest, but boy, I just don't think it's that hard to change up a sticker and put what the real velocity is with the powder they're using now. And wouldn't it be awesome, guys? So let's say you pick up, let's just say a 30-06 like this. And instead of getting a 22-inch barrel, you've got a longer barrel. You got a 24-inch barrel. Wouldn't it be awesome with your longer barrel that, let's see here, you get faster than 2756? Wouldn't it be sweet if you're getting 2800 because you have a little bit longer barrel? That would be my dream, right? If you have a 308, a 270, a 7PRC, or whatever cartridge that's a 24 or 26-inch barrel that's not the norm, you would actually get faster velocities. I think people would love that. So it's not lost on me that the vast majority of United States hunters, well, they don't really need accurate box velocities. I realize that the vast majority are probably hunting back east where your longest shot is maybe 150 yards. And it doesn't really matter when you're hunting whitetail if when your 270 Winchester is really only going 2950 instead of 3050. I mean, you could kill a whitetail with a rock So I get it. Like for the vast majority of hunters, the velocity doesn't really matter. But what about the Western big game hunter? Maybe someone that doesn't have a chronograph and that's going to be doing some long range hunting. Yeah, I think it matters a lot. All right, so what happens when we pick everyone's little darling elk cartridge, the 6.5 Creedmoor, and let's just give it a generic velocity. I'm not calling out any company right now for some box velocity discrepancy, but let's say it's a common velocity of 2750 feet per second. But that company measured that velocity with a test barrel of, I don't know, 24 inches. And you got 2,351 foot-pounds. And let's say someone's feeling very confident with their 6.5 Creedmoor because, let's be honest, the 6.5 Creedmoor is a very accurate cartridge, so they're feeling great out to 600. And they take a shot at an elk at 600 for some dumb reason. Well, energy sucks. But what I want to show is that's 83.9 inches of drop when sighted in at 100, 13.35 MOA in drop, and then for a 10 mile per hour wind, 3.63 MOA adjustment. But what happens when the velocity discrepancy is really bad? I've seen this with plenty of 6.5 Creedmoor ammo where it's really going like 2,600 feet per second instead of 2750. Well, you lose about 250 foot-pounds of energy. At 600 yards, your bullet's going, I don't know, 130 feet per second slower. And you have about 150 foot-pounds less of energy. But let's be honest, if you're using a 6.5 Creedmoor for elk, you really don't give a crap about energy. And 95.5 inches of drop compared to 83.9. That's almost a foot difference. Yeah, you could definitely miss if you dialed 13.3 MOA instead of 15.2, or you could hit something else you don't want to hit. Not a huge difference in wind adjustment, but there is some. It's probably like 2 or 3 inches. But yeah, it can make a difference. Now, in the beginning of the video, I did mention I would mention some companies that I have found in my little experience. Now, let me preface this by saying I've shot not a lot of factory ammo. I'm mostly a hand loader, but the factory ammo that I have shot that's gotten close or exceeded box velocity has been these companies. Now, Federal, I shot them in 2 different 30-06s. One of them was within 50 feet per second, which, if I had a buffer, it'd be about 50 feet per second. I understand every barrel's different, and, some barrels are slower than others. So I would say 50 feet per second is a pass for me. So Federal definitely, I would say barely passes. And of course, the 7 backcountry that's come out just recently, that definitely gets velocity. The other company I think is a bit underrated in getting velocity is Winchester. Just the little I've shot of it, I've shot it in 30-06 and 6.8 Western. The 30-06 was getting right at box velocity. And we'll start with the factory ammo. Send it.
Yeah, it actually snaps on.
Holy crap. And finally, Weatherby. Now, Weatherby's a bit different. Currently, Weatherby's really the only company that makes rifles for their chamberings. So, yeah, it's kind of expected they'll get velocity right. And the ones I've tested in 340 Weatherby, this is a 225 grain Hornady interlock. It said it was going to get 3,000 feet per second. Let me show you what I actually got.
You ready?
Yep.